So yeah, there's that. Return of the King. We got there. But we do have. There were two things that stuck out at me when I was watching. Two things that sort of grabbed me. As sort of like, wait a minute. I'm not exactly sure what number 2 was. The first thing that got me though was Gollum's death. And they explained in the making of deal that hey, Gollum's not really focused on the fact that he's dying. He's sad that the ring has betrayed him. And that he's only had this one moment with the ring, and then then he dies. And I don't know. It's weird to say the ring has betrayed him because it's not as if the ring wanted to fall into the lava. In fact, I think the ring is actively resisting, which is why it just sits on the lava for a little while. It's like trying not to melt, and then it melts. But Gollum, he falls, and I thought aren't you in lava? Aren't you Wouldn't that hurt? Okay, I can understand that you want to have this introspective moment and stuff. Could you have the introspection sort of mix with the physical pain? So where he goes oh no, this is the water of the lava line, and his face goes oh no. What if he's ah? So he's in pain, but he's also looking at the ring, and he's also very, nothing of it. Also, when Denethor's on fire and he jumps off the front of Minas Tirith, he would have to jog for a full mile before jumping off. You could leave it there if you want to. Whatever. The other thing that, the prologue. I forgot to mention this. There's a shot where it goes, in the land of Mordor, in the fires of Mount Doom, Sauron forged in secret a one ring, and into that he poured his powers, cruelty, and his will to dominate all life in Middle-earth. The thing where they say Mordor, the fires of Mount Doom, they show the Mount Doom, that's cool. The deal where they say his power and his cruelty in the ring is slowly falling and twisting in the air, that's cool. Right in the middle, where there's a shot of Sauron going "Rah, I have the ring." That shot sort of strikes me as a guy in a suit, less so than the Dark Lord Sauron. I don't know why. Somehow it doesn't quite fit. I don't know if it grabbed me the first time I saw it, but now that I see it, I'm here's an idea. What if we have a shot of the forging of the ring? And you could have Sauron, and he's standing over Mount Doom, maybe at that great distance, or maybe he's closer in somehow, I don't know. Probably better just be standing up there, just because that's where everything happens. And then he's got his hands out over, you could have a shot of just his hands, you have a shot of his face then too, and then his armor face. And then and he does this thing, and the lava's and it's all giant swirly things, changes in shape according to his hands. He's magically manipulating. And then in the middle of the lava's swirling around here, and this. And then maybe on the same swirl or a counter swirl, this is where the ring is forming. And Mordor and the fires of Mount Doom, and then in the Dark Lord Sauron in secret, just using those energy and then this, that little aforementioned piece of lava stuff in the middle sort of rises up, and maybe there's a lens flare thing of it, and you see this fire kind of circling the ring and fading as it soars up, and somehow get a sense of Sauron just being in his environment. Somehow that the shot doesn't look quite. He's gotta feel he's really there, he's having an effect on everything, the frigging wind is moving according to his magic at this point, and the ring calls up, and he's and there's shadow growing all around him, and then forged in secret, one ring, and it's and into this he poured his, and keep that shot the same, something like that. Return of the King, the Ghost Army. Peter Jackson himself never liked the idea of the Ghost Army because they're invincible, and what are you going to do about that? It raises the question of why don't they just keep them? So actually, I had Gimli ask that. Why don't you keep these guys? And of course, the explanation is, hey, if Aragorn, went back on his word to these guys, they could just as easily kill his people. They'd be oh, screw that. We'll kill everyone you care about. How's that? I don't know. But still, the King of the Dead is being a real jerk by not going to fight Sauron. You know. So what if we prescribe some limitations on this? Oh, another thing, they added an extended cut. It used to be Aragorn just says to all the ghosts, "I give you my word," and they disappear. And then later on, they show up on the Corsair ships. By the way, where is this mountain? It's probably on a map somewhere. But like, you were in Rohan, and there was this mountain, and Rohan's like more to the north. But then they come from the south. Maybe Rohan like went around this way. Or they. That one probably makes sense without any changes. I was just wondering. But let's see. Oh, they had a shot afterwards of like a gajillion skulls come out. I love this in the commentary. They're like, "So where did the skulls come out?" And Jackson doesn't phrase it exactly this way, but to paraphrase, it was like, "Well, you see, there was this one guy who had OCD, and he decided to organize all the bones of thousands and thousands of dead people, put all the skulls in one room, and it was just the skull chamber cracked open for some reason, because the ghosts were mad or whatever." They had a deal where Aragorn gets out, where they go through all these, wade through all the skulls, and they get out. Then they see the Corsair ships, and Aragorn sort of like falls to his knees and he's like, "What the crap?" And then Ghost King comes up behind him and says, "We fight." Well, you ruined the surprise. And then they have a deal with, and Peter Jackson has a cameo here. He gets shot. He's one of the dudes on the Corsair ships. He gets shot, and then like, "You and what army?" says the Corsair guy, and he's like, "This army." And then like the ghosts come out. They mentioned even in the commentary that they actually have this scene twice. That the one time attacking the Corsairs, and another time attacking from the Corsairs. And it's like, this is the one. I say, if you want to have the thing where he gets out of the place, he gets out, he falls to his knees, the Ghost King appears behind him, and since the Ghost King is digital, we can easily change this. Just get that voice actor back up again. He says something more vague, like, "I have made my decision." He's sort of like angry, like as if he was, "Screw you, Aragorn, I decided not to help you." He's really angry at himself. He's like, "Dang it, now I have to grovel like a dog and do what this guy tells me, and I'm a king, I don't want to do what someone else tells me to do." And then he's like, "Yeah, I made my decision." Like, what decision? Like, a negative decision, right? Are you just reinforcing that? But then he shows up later on, like, "Oh, I see, so he changed his mind." Oh, okay, that makes sense. Something like that. But for the dead, they like have a limitation on them. So for some reason we don't take them to Mordor. My first idea was, hey, if Sauron's a big evil guy and he's got all this dark magic, he probably has some influence over dead people. You know, I mean, somehow. That would kind of work into his shtick. So what if we could introduce them? I thought you could do a thing where, what if there's another dead guy that speaks? There's the King of the Dead, and there's like this advisor. And I'm thinking maybe like a fortune teller sort of guy. Sort of, he's got like a hood or something. He's sort of mystical and sort of a guy that would know about curses and crap. I don't know. And then he could say something like, "We would do you no good on the plains of Mordor. The dead who dare to behold the eye are stricken with madness and destruction." And I had to put both things in there. The idea was, you know, there's a way to kill the dead, and I was like, oh wait, if we just kill the dead, that's sort of what we do at the end when we say, "I hold your oath fulfilled." Don't they sort of die? And I go, the dead could go insane, and they wouldn't like that, you know. But then if they were insane, wouldn't they possibly still work as a fighting force if we just sort of send them out and then retreated, and then they could insanely kill all Sauron's people for us? So I thought, okay, what if they go insane and then they die? Or they, I don't know. And then the idea was they have to, if the eye looks at them, this is what happens. So then they could therefore fight on Pelennor Fields, but they can't fight at the Black Gate. Which would make more sense is you know, why they're limited in that way. Why we don't just, you know, conquer Sauron with these guys. Or you have this weird thing that you find out when you realize later. Like, if you have this practically invincible army here, remember all those incredible heroics with the charge of Rohan? It's like, you know, if Aragorn had just gotten this army of the dead one day earlier, none of those heroics would have been necessary. That doesn't feel right. We choose to ignore that fact.